Well, what's going on, LPX community? As the video title suggests, today's video is going to be about the Gear S1 versus the Gear S2 and see which device is better. Now, for those of you who are impatient and just want to know my opinion, I'm going to spoil the ending now. The Gear S1 is better. But for those of you who actually want to hear the reasons why, out of my opinion, please stick around. As well as I need to warn you that this video is very biased because, not because I'm sponsored or blah 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 blah, I've owned the Gear S1 since it came out last year. So I know all its quirks, all its pros and cons, and I've adapted to this device. So my opinions on the two is coming weighing heavily because of the stuff I had on the first one. Now, if you would like to hear my unbiased review of the Gear S2 where I focus on the device itself as if I was selling it for the first time or someone's buying it for the first time or you're giving it as a gift to someone for the first time, I'm going to be making that video for you guys. So if you'd like to see that, the video link should be on this image here. If it's not done yet, it should be up pretty soon, but this is the link you want to follow if you want to see that review. But if you want to see this one, stick around for 3, 2, 1. Alright, well, you stuck around for this video, so let's go ahead and talk about why this device is better than this device. And for those of you who follow my channel before, I don't focus on the technical aspects of it, like the specs or what processor, screen resolution, all that crap, because that's just, at the end of the day, that's just stuff on the side, because what you're focusing on is actually the functionality of the device. What's it like to use on a daily basis, and what's it like to own? And I can tell you guys right now, I've had this device for a little bit over 3 weeks now, so I've had it longer than my 2-week review period. And I do say I like it. I mean, whoa, what's going on, Andrew? Do you like it? But you just said you like the Gear S1 better, and I do. And I'm gonna be talking about this now, but I don't wanna make this video sound like this device is a horrible device, because it's not. After a few weeks of using it, I got used to using it. I've had major complaints here and there, but I think anyone that's entering into the smartwatch world, this is actually not a bad first start. But today's video is about why the Gear S1 is better, and I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about the whys. So off the bat, I'm gonna be talking about several points. So a lot of them may seem minor to you, but they seemed major to me because it was a function, it was like really nice to have, and it was really useful. And then I didn't really think about it until they took it away. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the auto brightness, because on the Gear S1, right next to the back button on the bottom of the screen, there are two little light sensor holes that detect the brightness of the room. So you can literally set the brightness of the device on auto, and it would auto adjust throughout the day, whether you were outside in a bright room or in the movie theater. It would adjust the brightness screen. So that not only helped with obviously the brightness level, not having to adjust it depending on what setting you're in, but also the battery use too, because you don't want to be in a dark room and all of a sudden it illuminates the entire room pieces on max bright, and that's what literally the Gear S1 did. When you take it out of the box, it's like on a medium to high brightness setting, so the screen looks vibrant, it looks clear, it looks awesome. But then once you go into, let's say, a movie theater or like a bar where it's like dim, it really sticks out because it's super bright and it actually hurts the eyes. So I mean, yes, it's nice to show off, but it's not easy to the eyes. So you can either do one of two things. You can either go in manually and adjust the screen brightness, which isn't too difficult to be honest, but it's a little bit annoying when the Gear S1 did it automatically. Number two is there is a do not disturb mode where you can literally just turn off the screen. You won't feel the vibrations or anything like that. The screen won't turn on, so it won't bother anyone. It'll just be active in the background. But still, it still wouldn't be nice to have the auto brightness, and I don't understand why they didn't include it. And off the top of my head, I'm not sure if the other watches of this competitor are using, like the Moto 360, LG G Watch R, the Huawei watch. I'm not sure even if the Apple Watch has it or not, but that's one thing I thought was, why did they remove that? It was a very useful thing to have, especially for people who were worried about battery usage on that. And then while on that topic, I want to talk about the battery life really quick. Both are really good. I can say that the Gear S lasts a bit longer because obviously a lot of the other functionalities that are in here, and it doesn't need the use of this bezel that uses extra, obviously another piece of hardware, more electricity. That might be a false statement, but that's just my opinion, and as well as the auto brightness. But I was able to get at least about a 2-day use out of this watch. Now, keep in mind, I am not a heavy app user. I am not sitting on my watch all day long, just constantly sitting there, internet browsing, all that stuff. I'm more of a notification person. So I read it. I can go ahead and open the text messages up, read the text, emails, etc., answer calls. Any alerts that I get, that's what I use it through, as well as to control my media on my phone. So that's mainly what I used it for, and I got more than 2 days out of it. With that same use, I can get upwards to 2.5 to 3 days out of the Samsung Gear S. So onto that, just one off comment on that point. I said it before, the fact that I can last more than a day really gets rid of that whole charge anxiety for me, because let's say, because I own my store here, I run a business, and there are days where I literally spend the night here, and I leave my chargers at home. So I can't go home to charge it, but the device still has like 70% left after being out for 16 hours, or actually even more than that. So I will leave my house at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when I leave, and I don't return until 4 a.m. the very next day. So it lasts long, and even when I get home, I still have about 40-50% left on the charge. So that's what I got out of it. But let's go back to the negatives of the Gear S2 compared to the Gear S1. And I just mentioned there the answering calls. I think you guys just heard that. And they removed the speaker out of here. And I don't know why. I'm not sure if the upper models will have it or not, but this is the sport version. So this is the active model. This is the $300 model right here. They removed the speaker function as well as the mic function, obviously, because if you can't hear them, there's no point in talking. So they removed both those functions. And yes, while I didn't always use the speech functionality of the Gear S1, I used it when I was in a bind. So if I was working on something, if I was driving, if I was outside just walking around, it's like I can answer it, and the speaker and the mic were so sensitive enough that I can leave my hands on the side, continue walking, doing my things. I was at Target one day shopping around, and I was able to just shop normally, and they were able to hear me fine. They didn't hear any of the side noises. We had a proper conversation. So it's nice in those instances. And I used it enough that when they took that functionality away from me, I missed it. The fact that because I was like, oh, I'm getting a phone call, I could actually use the swipe to answer function. So I answered it and went right to my phone, and I had to take my phone out. I was in the middle of doing something, so it was really inconvenient for me, because a lot of you are like, well, you can just answer and put it on speaker. I'm in the middle of doing something. The fact that I can just simply swipe and then continue what I'm doing makes it so much more convenient. And yes, a lot of you may be thinking, these are such minor things, these are stupid. But it's just like any little thing, any little improvements you make in your life. You're like, it's a minor improvement, but once you take it away, you're like, this is annoying, this is hindersome. Like even people who drive, I know I'm going off topic, but this is a quick metaphor. For those of you who have keyless entries and push start engines on your cars, you're like, it's something stupid, it's something minor. But you go back to a car that requires you to open with the key, put in the key and turn it on, all of a sudden it's a little annoying to you, and you feel like you're wasting your time. That's me. That might not be you, but that's my personal preference on that. There's that there. But speaking of also the talk function, they also removed the 3G. Yes, I understand that there's a 3G model, but for the same price as the old one, the same price, I don't have 3G connectivity. So I cannot treat this as a standalone device anymore. Yes, I understand there's Wi-Fi, but there's not Wi-Fi everywhere in the world. I know for those of you in maybe the urban cities and everything, there might be, but here in the suburbs and rural areas, Wi-Fi doesn't exist everywhere, so you can't always be connected. So having that 3G functionality, it was really useful, especially when I went on our runs outside during the spring last year. Even going outside, going for a walk, I could leave my phone in my car at home and still receive all my text notifications and phone calls while I was out, so no one would have to worry. And for me, I wouldn't have to worry about dropping my phone, and I wouldn't have to worry about me missing any calls or any important texts. So them getting rid of that is kind of stupid for me, because it's like having a basic function in a car that you had last year, and they removed it next year and are charging you more for it. It's why'd you get rid of that standard feature? So I can kind of see what they were trying to do, but at the same time, I'm a little disappointed that they got rid of that. Now, another thing that I don't like about the Gear S2 is something that I've already discussed before and mentioned numerous times about the circle display. You can just see it from this view. If you can't really tell from the video there, I'll probably do a close-up shot, but the screen, just by looking at it, is significantly smaller. I know on paper it's only a little bit, but viewing-wise, it is a smaller area to look at. Now, while many people prefer the smaller size, I can understand that. Or even if it was square, I actually wouldn't mind it. But the round displays for these watches don't work, in my opinion. And I don't know why even Samsung is trying to make it work. I'll talk about the little bezel thing later, but honestly, it just doesn't work for me, especially when I personally use it. This is my personal opinion. I personally mainly use my watches for notifications, reading emails, and text messages. So when I have to do that on a limited surface, it makes it difficult. The fact that I always have to consistently have to scroll through every message just to read everything or get a general gist of it, when on the Gear S, it popped up, I could literally see the entire message in one go. There was little to no interaction with the watch. I literally looked it up, looked at it, swiped it away, I'm done. Here, I have to hold it up and constantly scroll up and down the message in order to do so. And for those of you who own the Moto 360, the LG Watch R, the Huawei watch probably dealt with the same thing. It's because they literally try to pack everything into that one screen. And instead of making it fit, at least so you can try to read it, they just kind of cut it off, so it forces you to scroll up. So for me, it's a little stupid in my opinion. And in terms of just surface area, you could do a lot more with the screen on this guy than this one. And for those of you who want to bring up, well, it's much bigger, so it's heavier. This thing actually weighs lighter than this in my opinion. The metal makes it a little heavy. Now, don't get me wrong, because of its smaller frame, it is still pretty light. I barely noticed it while wearing it, but when I put the Gear S back on, the Gear S felt a lot lighter than the Gear S2. You can actually feel the difference in my opinion. So there's that. So for me, it's just too small. And when you look at it in person, I mean, look. I mean, you can see it in person. It's smaller, and not to say that bigger is better or anything like that. But for me, when it's like I want to use it in one go and be quick about it, it really works. And that's just like a minor thing on top of everything else. So a lot of you might think these are all minor issues, like I just said, but they pile up really quick. They really do, guys. But aside from the screen size, guys, I want to talk about the build quality. And I'm not going to be performing any drop tests or durability tests on the Gear S2 because not that I'm not confident, it's just with metal finishes like this, I feel very uncomfortable. Because while a plastic one can absorb impacts a lot better, yes, it scratches up and everything, but for me, this thing feels almost like a toy. I know that's kind of a wrong way to think about it, but for me, it's like dropping this. It's fine for me because I know it can take it. But with the metal finish, it feels like a more premium watch. And so every nick, every drop, concrete, asphalt, for me, I feel like it would damage the metal surface pretty badly. And for me, it just feels more fragile, especially with that round bezel. That it's a moving part. It is a moving part. If that gets damaged, your watch is now screwed. You can't use that rotating bezel to navigate through the screens. And unfortunately, some of the apps require you to use that bezel. And on that point, the bezel is a little bit annoying to use. There are aspects of it that I like, which I will talk about in the review video, but I don't like the fact that you have to use it. And the thing is, it's not even fully integrated. You have to use a combination of touchscreen and bezel to navigate through. It's not one or the other, it's both. So it's kind of stupid to me. For me, it's just like on the Gear S, it's like, all right, swipe, select, go. Why do I have to do this, then this again, then this? It just doesn't make sense. It's once again, it's minor, but it's annoying that I have to do that. And like I'm coming from using the Gear S, folks, so it's not like I'm using the Gear S2 for the first time. I've used their previous devices, so I'm really heavily criticizing it off of that. Now, one last small gripe that I have with the Gear S2 is the motor sensitivity on this thing. It is absolutely ridiculous because the slightest twitch will turn the screen on. Like, it will turn on. I mean, it didn't do it there, sorry, but like literally you'll be sitting there, you just flick your wrist a little bit and it'll turn on. I'll probably have a video playing my B-roll footage showing you guys that. But the Gear S1 did that as well, but it was a little bit more harsher. It wasn't literally a flick of the wrist and the screen will turn on. It was literally the full motion of you going up and down. Now, was that motor abused a little bit here and there? Yes, I will admit that, but it wasn't as sensitive as this thing. Because I noticed this a lot more because of the screen brightness being the same and you have to manually adjust it. So it literally lets you know that it's really bright, especially when you're in the movie theater. Like, I literally just went to go reach for a drink and it turned on and it blinded my fiance. It was just like, why is it so sensitive? It literally reacts to a little small jerk on the wrist. It really does when you're wearing it. And it's a little annoying, to be honest. And for me, it's a waste of battery as well. It's like, why didn't you just use the same sensor as the Gear S1? Now, I did want to spend some time talking about some of the benefits of what the Gear S2 did. There are small improvements that they did do on the watch that I like. The number one thing being the wireless charging. All the other competitors, either that have done contact chargers or wireless chargers, they've done it so you don't have to have little pieces break off. Like the Gear S and all the previous Gear watches all had this little connecting piece you had to clip on. And the thing is, those little clip-on pieces usually snapped off. And so a lot of people ended up having to either rubber band their charger on or having to buy another one for $30, $40. And that was very annoying. Even on the Gear S1, because what sucks about those contact chargers is that they wear out over time, especially the one you're wearing on your wrist and it's rubbing against your skin. And if you sweat, you work out with it, it wears out. Like even on my Gear S, it still charges. But the fact that some of the contacts are starting to wear out, I've seen other people's that's starting to wear out a lot more after over a year of use. There's that, and I like the fact that it is now wireless because you literally just slap it on, it will charge, and it charges pretty quickly. I will give it that. And the watch is comfortable. Both of these devices are comfortable, folks. At the end of the day, they're both comfortable to wear. They get the job done. They do what they were meant to do. I mean, the thing is, there's not really a true meaning what a smartwatch does. They're still refining it out. But in my terms of notifications, being able to leave your phone in your pocket, purse, home, not home, but you know, away in your pockets to conserve battery and just get what you need off the watches, it is very helpful. But once again, I just don't like the fact that it is not a standalone device again. That was the whole purpose why I stuck with the Gear S, because not only was it a smartwatch, but I could use it as a standalone device. Not a true standalone device like some of you try to argue me with. I don't mean like this will replace my phone, but the fact that the convenience of I forgot my phone, but I'm still okay. I can still get my phone calls and emails. Being able to go about my daily life, even if I forgot my phone, or keeping it away. I would bring out my phone if it was important, if I really needed to use it for like maps or really scrolling through Facebook or YouTube and that kind of stuff. But for my needs as a business owner and just a little bit of social media, I'm not really too heavy on it as I should be, but the Gear S really did the job well. The Gear S2 also does the job okay, but the fact that there's the limited functionality of not having the 3G version, and before you go arguing to me about, well, they are going to release a 3G version of it, the fact that I have to pay more than the Gear S is more valuable to me. The battery lasts longer, the screen is bigger, you can get different straps for it. The sports band, I mean, it feels lighter. You can just get more out of this device. You have a speaker functionality, mic functionality. Like you just get more out of this device than you would this. And you're gonna charge me $50 more for the 3G model. I would go with this. And I haven't played around trying to transfer video files onto this thing too. But if you want to watch movies on these things, the square display is what you want to watch it on. You don't watch your movies on a circle TV. I mean, we have curved TVs, but that's different than a circle display. This isn't like the Jetsons or anything, folks. So guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about these two devices. I do like both, I'll admit that, but I like the Gear S more, and I will be reverting back to it. Or maybe. That's a little preview for you guys and what might be to come. But I will be saying in my review video, I'll be saying the same thing now. this will be going away. I will be giving the Gear S2 out as I promised to all the backers of the GoFundMe campaign that helped me get this watch so I can review it. I'll be making that video around the first couple weeks of December, so before Christmas. So hopefully you guys will get it before Christmas, my backers. And if you still want to contribute, any money that's raised now is all going to go towards the charity that I've selected, Limitless Solutions, for the GoFundMe campaign. Now, for those of you who still want a chance at getting the Gear S2, all hope is not lost. I believe the campaign is still active. I will leave the GoFundMe campaign link in the description box below. And at this point, we've already raised more than what I hoped for the watch. So any excess funds are now going to go towards the charity I selected, which is Limitless Solutions, which is all on the link down below. So go ahead and check it out. If you want to enter or just contribute because you want to donate to a good cause, please do so. I will be making that video very soon, actually. Now that the fact that the store is starting to settle down, I'm going to sit down and actually make a video of me, making the check and donating it out. You guys will be seeing all that. You guys will have all the proof you need. But at the same time, guys, we are edging closer to my 10,000 subscriber mark, which has really caught me off guard. And I will be making more videos very soon. But since that's coming up, and if you're watching this from the future, this is completely irrelevant to you because it's probably going to be done by now. But I will be giving away my Samsung Gear S because I promised that for my 10,000 subscriber mark, I would give this guy away. So this is what my channel started off with. This is where it's going to kick off from. And so, I will make an official video on that, but that's all I'm going to say on that part, guys. But thank you for watching my video, guys. I do my best to make videos that are different. I do my best just to talk to you. If you guys like the whole 1 minute, 5 minute video review videos, there are guys that do that. They just focus on the specs, give you a quick tutorial 101, but I do my best to just talk to you. Because a 5-minute video is not enough to determine whether a device is good or not, or whether it's worth you buying or not. Because it'd just be like if you walked into your electronics store and asked the salesperson there. If that person's knowledgeable, they're gonna go through every little thing that you may like or may not like, so if they're a good person, that is. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not sponsored by Samsung. I'm not sponsored by anyone, by all means. If anything, I'm sponsoring myself through my business, but I'm not. So if you guys have any questions at all about the devices, either go see the Gear S2 full review where I talk about the device there. When it's out, it's probably going to be out later than this one. But ask me any questions about the device that you guys want and your opinions. If you guys want to share just your comments in general, any feedback is welcome. If you want to troll me. I feel like I have a good handful of you out there just like to leave a thumbs down right away. So have at it, guys. But as always, please leave a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you haven't already done so, please do hit that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future because they are coming. And podcasts will be returning, folks. I promise you that. They will be back. And as always, guys, please, whatever time of day it is in your part of the world when you're watching this video, please have a good day, good morning, good evening, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Well, long time no see, LPX community. Gonna quickly apologize for my hiatus the last few months, but as you can see, I've been working very diligently on getting my store up and running and even expanding. We just actually finished an expansion over to the other side, and unfortunately, running this business has taken a lot of my time, but I'm finally back with a brand new video for you guys, a new product to review, thanks to you guys actually. So today we're going to be doing an initial unboxing and review impression of the